Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and sitting under this bright light, just an experiment. And I guess some of you may have noticed that I changed the name of the channel. Now it's ARW, and I was advised against doing that. Probably good advice, but I've never been one to take good advice, so I went ahead and changed it. Now, if y'all remember way back there when I was getting started, AVE had just started a little bit ahead of me, and his channel was Arduino versus Evil. So he shortened that down to AVE, and it worked out good for him. And my channel being Amateur Redneck Workshop, I shortened it down to ARW. And I don't guess it matters if it works out for me or not, because I've done it and there you are. But anyway, that's what you'll see in the notifications from now on, ARW. And I've got today a how it works kind of video, and I know a lot of you, or some of you, a couple of you anyway, don't like firearms, don't find them interesting, and that's what this is about. So you might as well go ahead and skip to the joke at the end, or I don't know, there's other channels. I looked at YouTube. There's 31 million channels on YouTube. Think about that, 31 million. Now out of that, there's got to be tens of thousands of them that are machine shop themed channels. And I would guess probably 95% of them are better than mine. So you don't want to see my gun, well, you know, and how it works, well, you couldn't have a hard time finding a machine shop channel to look at. But then again, there's still probably the Bubba joke at the end. Anyway, I went to the Steel Challenge here a couple weeks ago. It started up again, and I got in the 60s again because on the #1 stage there, which I didn't do first, I did it like third, because we start in different areas, you know. And anyway, when I come down to that one, I missed on 2 different strings of shots, and so if you miss, you get a 3-second penalty. If you miss on one, you know, we shoot the thing 5 times each one of those stages. If you miss on one string through the stage, well, that can be your big bad score that you throw away, because they only count 4 of the 5 times that you shoot. But I missed on 2 different strings, and I was kind of slow on top of it all. I had a guy talk me into shoot these 2 and then come over here on this other end and shoot them back this way, and that confused me. So I had, and when I got through, he says, "What?" He says, "If you hadn't missed the stop plate, well, you'd have been a half a second faster, a half second or a quarter of a second faster." And I thought, yeah, well, I wasn't. But anyway, so I'm back to practicing practically every day, and I practice quite a lot. I use 2,000 rounds a month for practice, and I've been using this particular pistol for 3 or 4 years. So you can imagine how much, you know, ammo's been down the barrel, and quite a lot. Anyway, so I have to occasionally replace springs and other parts. Well, I was out there today and had a strange thing happen, and the thing blew carbon and stuff all out the ejector port, and I thought, well, that's terrible. I had that happen with another kind of ammo, and so I've got it here to take it apart and clean it and inspect it. And I've had people before ask me, how does it work? How the heck does it reload itself every time you pull the trigger? So we're going to go through that, those of us that are still here. Alright, so let's get on with it. What we have here is a disassembled .22 pistol. The more astute viewer may have ascertained that in this kind of condition it can't jump up and shoot somebody. So not a lot of, you know, things to be gained by showing that it's empty. You know what I'm saying? Nothing in the magazine. It's just empty. And you might ask, well, so what? Why am I showing you this? Well, I'd like to show you something interesting to me that happened today. This is the way that a normal SW22 long rifle cartridge looks after it's been fired. You can set it on the end of that screwdriver. You see that it's got a dent in the end of it where the firing pin hit the rim. They call it rim fire because the firing pin hits the rim, and that's what causes it to fire. Here's the one that I took out of here today. Whoa, that's not exactly common, is it? That's because the end of it blew off. Now, I don't know if that was a failure from the factory, or if my pistol caused it, or what. So I've got it apart here. I'll clean it after a while. So I'm taking it apart looking for worn out or broken parts that could have caused this, because what I found, and this is an actual loaded round. I've got a loaded round here on the same table with a pistol. But it's still disassembled and not likely to jump up off of there and shoot anybody. So let's try to keep that in mind. Now we take this thing that I had today that the end has gone from, and I'm going to stick him into the gun if I can. There. That was in the cylinder. Well, it's not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get another light and put it here, and I'm off camera. I'm going to put that empty case in the chamber there. It's kind of difficult to reach in that little hole. Okay, so I've got the empty piece down in the chamber now, which is hard to see because light's hard to come by in here. And the way I found this today was this slide was forward like that, and there was another whole cartridge stuck in there right in the tail end of that thing, a little mangled, and this thing had popped and blown carbon and crud all over the place. Got some on my hand, and it made me wonder why did that happen, because I had previously had a particular ammunition that I was practicing with that was real cheap, and 1 out of 50 would split right down the side of this case. I don't know why that was, but when I switched to another brand, that problem stopped, and everything was lovely until today. But anyway, I've had people before ask me, well, how does that work? You know, how does this thing put ammunition into the chamber by itself? What makes it semi-automatic? Notice I said semi-auto. You got to pull the trigger to make the action happen. All right, one pull, one shot. So what we got is, this is the magazine, and the way that it gets to the next round is, you see this little piece right here. This little piece hangs down, and in fact the reason that it hangs down like that is so that it will fit. I'll show you the magazine if I can pull it up here. You see how the magazine's got those lips right there. You can see through them. Well, there will be a loaded cartridge in there, and this piece that hangs down will go right through there, and we'll go right through that spot and push the round up the ramp. There's a little ramp right here. I don't know if you can tell. There's a little ramp right there, and it just goes right up into the chamber, which is why I have an actual loaded round here that I'm going to show you how it works. We're going to put the slide over here in the barrel. This magazine will be sticking up. It'll be sticking up in there like that. You see? And then this slide will come forward, and if I can get it lined up, and it will push that round out of the slide. Let me get it in the right position. Well, no wonder they charge money for these things. There's a lot of work at the factory to get it right. So anyway, it pushes it right out of that magazine and up and into the chamber. Something which I wasn't able to do there because I'm not a pistol. But that's what makes a semi-automatic work. The fact that this round is sitting right there in those lips, and that magazine comes by, grabs hold of it, pushes it forward like so, and it runs up the ramp and pops into the chamber. And another round, as soon as the slide comes back on the next time you fire it, the spring in here will push another round up into those lips, and it'll catch the next one and shove it into there. I hope that was reasonably clear. Now that something that was almost left out of the discussion is what makes this slide, once the shell goes off and shoves it back, what makes it go forward? Well, there's this little spring here which has a guide rod in the middle, and that guide rod is jammed against the edge of that slot, and this piece right here is I guess they call it the buffer. And this thing sits over it like that, and when it fires it compresses that spring, and that throws the slide back to the front. You can see it compresses it, and when these springs get weak, you get malfunctions from that too. I replace them about every 3,000 rounds. So there you are. What I've actually got is I have two empty disassembled pistols. And here, how does it get the fired round out of the chamber? Well, if you'll look down in here, let me find my screwdriver. There's a hole right there, right beside the barrel. You see that slot right there? This extractor, which is this piece right here, I'll move it around a little bit. There's the extractor. He goes into that hole, grabs hold of the cartridge. Now I'll try to put another empty cartridge in there. The astute viewer probably noticed that I had never removed this thing from the chamber, so I couldn't get the other empty one in there. All right. So anyway, that slide's not there. Here's one that's in working condition. This slide goes forward when it puts that round in there, and it latches down on the ring, the rim of that rim fire. And when it fires, it pulls it out just like that. And then it hits what they call the ejector, which flips it sideways and it comes out the ejection port. Alright, when it comes out the ejector, the extractor has got a hold of it right here. And it goes back, and what they call the ejector, this is the extractor, the ejector comes sliding up this slot right here and pushes it right out of there, just like that. Okay? So that's how it ejects the round. Okay, children, so we have learned that the extractor is a little piece of metal down in there that sticks forward, and when the slide comes back, that ejector, I don't know what I called it, but anyway, the ejector is down in there. He's that little guy right there. He hits the back of the case and makes it flip out, and it makes the extractor let go of it. The extractor being this little guy right there. We've also ascertained that the slide has got this piece right here that hangs down below everything, and that it fits between the lips of the slide. And we're going to set this up here, and what it does when it comes in, let me see if I can get it in the right position. Not easy to do. When it comes in, it pushes one out, and when it comes backwards, the next one pops up. And then he goes forward. And let's see if we can do it. He goes forward, pushes that one up the ramp, and when you fire, he comes back, and the next one jumps up there, ready to roll. Alright, now the extractor here on the side is spring loaded. You can see that it moves to the side as it goes around. This is what causes it to latch onto that case, is the hook on it. Now I've got an extractor, where did I put it? Right here. Here's one that's out of everything. Alright, you can see he's a little guy with a little hook on the end. He's got a little edge on the back where this piece right here will ride on it and cause it to stay down. Okay, and behind it, it's got a spring, little spring, and this piece to hold the whole thing together. So there we are. That's how it works. Well, it seems like Oldie went into his local bar there and told the bartender to give him 3 shots of whiskey. So he he drank one after the other, 3 shots of whiskey. Come in the next day and ordered 3 shots of whiskey. Did this for a week, you know, and the bartender started getting kind of curious, you know, and he says, look here, Oldie, why are you doing that? I said, oh, he says, I have these friends, you know, these 2 friends. He says, we always used to drink together. And he says, but they can't be here, you know, they're living, you know, too far away in other states. And so he says, I'm having a drink for them. So, you know, be like old times. Bartender says, oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, and so Oldie went on doing this for a whole month, you know, and then one day Oldie comes in and he orders 2 shots of whiskey. And he drank 2 shots. Next day, orders 2 shots. Next day, another time, and he orders 2 shots. And bartender got kind of concerned. He said, Oldie, he says, what's going on here? He said, one of your buddies die? Oldie said, oh, no, no. He says, I just give up drinking for Lent. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.